Vale, 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 a ver. Vale, 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 a ver. Vale, todo va bien por aquí. Todo bien por allá. Vale, pues gente, bienvenidos al canal. Estamos dando de nuevo al Mass Effect. Después de un tiempo de parón por culpa de problemas ajenos a mi control. Vamos a ir con esta aventura, con el bueno de Shepard aquí. Voy a poner esto por aquí y así ya puedo quitar esto de aquí, dejar esto aquí y volver aquí tranquilamente. Vale, perfecto. Pues un pequeño resumen para los que hace tiempo que habéis visto esta serie o estos directos. Básicamente acabamos de salir de Terum, hemos rescatado a Liara, hemos tenido la reunión, por eso estamos aquí con Shepard. Y ahora pues toca un poquito de charlar con la gente, toca un poco ponerse al día con la tripulación de la Normandía y hacer alguna misión secundaria que tendremos que hacer, oye. Y luego seguiremos con Ferum o Noveria, uno de los dos. Probablemente Noveria, que es el laboratorio. Vamos para adelante. Presley, ¿tú tienes algo que decirme?
Yes, Commander.
Speak freely, Presley. I want to know if you have a problem with non-humans.
I trust you, Commander. If you think they belong here, then so do I.
Vale.
Carry on, Presley.
No dice
Yes,
nada
sir.
nuevo. A ver si Jacob nos dice... Jacob, digo yo. Jack nos dice algo nuevo. Me pone Joker. Jeff, coño, ¿por qué lo llamo Jack? Jeff Muro. Joker.
I prefer gold to silver, you know, for my medal. I figured you'd recommend me for one since I pulled your boots out of the fire.
¿Seguro que es lo que quieres?
If we present you with a medal, you'll end up sitting on stage listening to politicians
Oh,
make speeches
cierto.
for a couple of hours. Fun.
That's a good point. They'd probably make me shave, too. I spent the last 7 weeks working on this baby. No medal's worth that.
Verdad, la barba de Jeff nunca
Why
cambia,
don't you tell me why you're really here?
O sea, siempre tiene la barba ahí a topísimo, tú. Vale, no dice nada.
I have to
Vale.
go.
Alright, see ya.
Vale. Vamos hablando con la gente. Tendremos ya en la nave a Liara, así que hablaremos con ella en cuanto podamos. Habrá que bajar de altura. Es un poco lo que toca, gente. Hay que hablar un poco con la gente justo después de la misión. Por aquí no, porque la sala de reuniones está allá, sí, por aquí. Y habrá que ver cómo hacemos el romance con Ashley, gente, porque muchas veces la cago sin querer con ella, no sé por qué. Hay que darle la razón y ya está. ¿Sabes cuándo creo que nos dicen a nuevo?
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
No,
I
dicen a
should
nuevo.
go.
Goodbye.
Si me equivoco, Liara está ahí atrás, ¿no? Aquí está Liara.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
Es la mejor.
You're in good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I never properly thanked you for saving me from the Geth, Commander. If you hadn't shown up...
No me da la gracia. Os recuerdo, gente, que voy full Paragon. O sea, yo casi nunca juego en modo Paragon. Yo siempre doy a las opciones de abajo. Salvo en las conversaciones de los compañeros. Pero esta vamos a ir full Paragon. Que lo he jugado muy pocas veces en full Paragon. Y tengo curiosidad de ver cómo llega todo en full Paragon.
I'm just glad we got there in time.
So am I. I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks at me. They do not trust me. But I am not like Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
Lo sé.
Don't worry, Liara. I trust you. I know you won't let me down.
It means a lot to hear you say that, Commander. Thank you.
¿Hablamos con ella o investigamos primero? Vamos con ella primero.
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
Me? I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
Siempre están las ruinas. Pero nos dijo en el episodio anterior, bueno, en el episodio anterior en YouTube, aquí en el directo anterior que hace años, hace años del último directo, nos dijo que como era una Asari, tiene ciento y poco años, pero para ellos es una Asari aún muy joven, ¿vale? Es como una niña, y que no toman muy en serio sus investigaciones por culpa de eso.
Sounds dangerous. And lonely.
Sometimes I would run afoul of indigenous life forms or stumble across a small band of mercenaries or privateers, but I was always careful. Until the Geth followed me to Artemis Tau, I never found myself in any situation my biotics could not handle. As for the solitude, well, that is one aspect that most appealed to me. Sometimes I just need to get away from other people.
Que luego con el tiempo eso cambia, ¿eh? Luego le gusta estar cerca de la gente. ¿Por qué?
You don't like other people?
I suppose it comes from being a matriarch's daughter. People expected me to follow in Benezia's footsteps. They wanted me to become a leader of our people. Matriarchs guide their followers into the future. They seek the truth of what is yet to come. Maybe that's why I became so interested in the secrets of the past. It sounds so foolish when I say it out loud. It sounds like I became an archaeologist simply to spite Benezia.
Los hijos siempre van un poco en contra de los padres, ¿no? Eso es verdad. No es
All
tontería.
children rebel against their parents. It's a natural part of growing up.
Correcto.
Aha. You share the wisdom of the matriarch, Shepherd. That is exactly what Benezia said when I told her of my decision. But there was more to it than that. I felt drawn to the past. The Protheans were these wondrous, mysterious figures. I wanted to know everything about them. That is why I find you so fascinating.
Oh.
You were marked by the beacon on Eden Prime. You were touched by working Prothean technology.
¿Es fascinante?
Sounds like you want to dissect me in a lab
Sí,
somewhere.
exacto.
No, I did not mean to insinuate. I never meant to offend you, Shepherd. I only meant that you would be an interesting specimen for an in-depth study. No, that's even worse.
Pobre Liara. Tranquila.
Calm down, Liara. I was only joking.
Joking? Oh, by the goddess, how could I be so dense? You must think I am a complete and utter fool. Now you know why I prefer to spend my time in the field with data disks and computers. I always seem to say something embarrassing around other people. Please, just pretend this conversation never happened.
Aquí, vale. Más fuerte en los cascos. Venecia.
Do you know why Benezia joined up with Saren?
I don't understand it. She was always outspoken about the need for the Asari to become more involved in shaping galactic events. Maybe she thought allying herself with Saren would somehow be for the greater good in the long run. At least I hope so.
Parece preocupada.
This hurts you, doesn't it?
None of this makes any sense to me. I have not spoken to Benezia in many years, but I know her, and this was not like her. Something changed.
Casi no dice nada.
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of peaceful cooperation in galactic disputes. My people believe we are all part of a single galactic community. Each species contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
¿Rumores?
Like what?
Como la reproducción.
Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals.
Siempre.
My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us. We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
I don't understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical contact may or may not be involved, but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings. We can touch the very depths of their minds. We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits on to our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
¿Y el otro progenitor?
What happens to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
Solo por unas décadas. O sea, viven 1000 años, pero solo viven juntos unas décadas con sus compañeros. ¿Quién fue tu padre?
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her partner?
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
A ver, esta pregunta no tiene sentido, así que ¿no sabes quién era?
Benezia never told you her partner's name?
Union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained, or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood. Though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face, it is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
Lo que yo pienso, sin embargo, es, antes de que llegaran a la ciudadela, antes de que llegaran a crear el consejo y a conocer a otras especies y todo demás, cuando los Asari estaban en su planeta, o al principio ya estaban solos, ellos se criaban entre ellos, es decir, tenían hijos entre ellos, entre las Asaris. Si han llegado a esta capacidad de biótica, de longevidad y demás, solo liándose entre ellos, ¿por qué ahora están en contra de eso? Es la cuestión. ¿Sabéis lo que quiero decir? Si ha funcionado bien toda la vida, ¿por qué estás en contra de eso? Pero bueno, eso no lo sabes.
Maybe she wanted to meet you but couldn't. Something could have happened to her. Maybe she passed away.
You might be right. I hope you are. But I have no way to know for sure. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
¿Cómo te vayas de
Asari lived for 1,000 years. What happens when your partner dies?
Few sapient species live as long as my kind. We have learned to take a philosophical approach to our unions. We do not focus on the inevitable loss of our partners. Instead, we enjoy the
Buena
time
visión,
we spend
buena
with them.
filosofía.
And even after they're gone, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
Vale. Vale, me
I
gusta.
should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
Adiós, a Liara. Iba a decir adiós a Asari, en plan, adiós a Asari genérica. Pero no, Liara es mucho más que una Asari cualquiera. Vale, hemos hablado con Liara. Kaiden está allí, sí. Vamos a hablar con él, a ver qué nos dice. Luego hablamos con Asia, a ver si podemos tener romance con ella, oye. Kaiden, ¿qué te cuentas?
Anything you need, Commander?
No nos cuenta nada nuevo,
Just trying to get a sense of where the
Is
crew's
this an
at.
official evaluation, Commander? Or
Habla con libertad.
Alenko, when it's just you and me, you can consider it off the record.
That's a generous attitude. Okay. I think there's something wrong with all this.
Algo falla desde el
This
principio con todo.
Saren is looking for records on some kind of galactic extinction, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander. There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
Escucho.
The council doesn't want to believe anything's wrong. I'd call it human nature, but
El consejo siempre va a abocar porque todo es mentira.
Around as long as the
Y que hay
Council
paz.
should see this coming.
Les puede atacar 20 millones de razas diferentes, que hay paz.
Protocol wasn't a big focus back in Bot.
¿Puede haber una amenaza de segadores? Hay paz. Es todo una mentira, una invención, una leyenda, un cuento, lo que sea. Siempre va a haber paz para ellos. Vale, de
tell
acuerdo.
me about it.
Biotic acclimation
Ah, los bióticos,
and
vale.
temperance didn't last past the airlock. To the kids they hauled in, it was brain camp. Sorry, hauled in is unkind. We were encouraged to commit to an evaluation of our abilities so an
Arrojados.
understanding of biotics could be compiled. There are worse results of accidental exposure to element 0 in the womb. Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
¿Crees que no fue accidental?
Is there some question about how you were exposed?
My mother was downwind of a transport crash. It was before there were human biotics, a little after the discovery of the Martian ruins. It only gets iffy around 63 when Kinetics was running out of first-gen subjects. Until then, they'd relied on accidentals. A bunch of guys in suits show up at your door after school, and next thing you know, you're out on Jump Zero.
Jump Zero is Gagarin Station, right? What's it like?
Yeah, that's the official name. Biggest and farthest facility we had for decades. Right on the termination shock, the outer edge of the solar system. It's where they did all the Goose Chase FTL research before we caught on to using mass effect fields. It was a sterile research platform when I was there.
There were other kids in the same boat, right? At least you weren't alone out there.
That's true. We did have a little circle that'd get together every night before lights out. We didn't have much to do, though. It was a research platform then, and Kinetics kept Jump Zero off the extranet to prevent leaks.
Then you must have had plenty of time to get to know each other.
Yeah, we'd sit around and bull every night after dinner, play cards or network games. There was this girl named Rana who had a little circle grow up around her. She was from Turkey. Her family was very rich. But she was smart and charming as hell. Beautiful, but not stuck up about it. I think you'd have liked her.
¿Te enamoraste de ella?
Sounds like she was special to you.
She was. Maybe she felt the same. But
But...
things never felt together. Training, you know.
Exposiciones deliberadas. Vale, pues si no sabéis, gente, para crear bióticos humanos, ¿vale? O al menos en un principio de cómo ocurrió todo esto, hubo accidentes en el que el ISO, ¿vale? El ISO, que es la materia que se usa para los motores, pues se puso en las personas, ¿vale? Hubo gente toxicada con el ISO, aparte de que ser con una radiación que tuvieron tumores y problemas de enfermedades más. Los hijos que nacieron de esa gente tuvieron esas capacidades bióticas, ¿vale? Básicamente eso. Por eso después, para experimentar, para saber cómo ocurrió, para saber cómo controlarlo y cómo crear más bióticos, de la manera que tuvieran que estar un poco al alcance de las Asari, por ejemplo, en cuanto a bióticos, o de los turianos, pues hicieron exposiciones deliberadas de elemento cero, de ISO, a las personas para crear nuevos bióticos. De aquí es como se crean los bióticos actuales.
You know of any intentional exposures for certain?
No one knows. Doesn't mean they didn't happen. As big as the exposures were, it was hard to track down accidentals. It was different then. No one knew the potential, so there wasn't a lot of regulation. Anything Kinetics did was gold. I'm not saying they intentionally detonated drives over our outposts, but in retrospect, they were damn quick on the scene.
Continúa.
Jump Zero is a long way from home. What was it like?
The grand gateway to humanity looks a lot better in the vids. But that's my own baggage, Commander. No bearing on this.
Puedes hablar conmigo.
Alenko, there's no regulation that says you can't be friends with your commander.
I appreciate that, Commander. I just don't want you to think that I'm a whiner. Besides, I've got my past squared away.
Vale, ya tenemos hablar con Kaidan. Garrus en este Mass Effect no está allí delante, así que no tiene sentido, porque aquí normalmente estaría las baterías de disparo, pero están en la nave del Mass Effect 2 y Mass Effect 3, aquí no están. Por lo tanto, aquí ya hemos hablado con Kaidan, con Liara, con Chakwas, nos vamos para abajo a hablar con Ashley. Y a ver si no la cagamos con el romance de Ashley, gente. Estaría guay tener el romance con Ashley, porque como con Tali no podemos, y quiero hacer romance con Tali, pero en el Mass Effect 1 no se puede, por desgracia, pues habrá que hacerlo con Ashley. Y si no, pues no hacemos nada y punto. Y esperamos Mass Effect 2 para enamorarnos y ser felices. Vale. Ashley, compañera, vamos a hablar contigo. A ver qué te cuentas.
Commander, you have a minute to talk?
Claro.
I keep an open door policy. If you have any concerns, lay them on me.
All right. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but I'm concerned about the aliens, Vicarian and Rex.
Y
With all due
Liara,
respect,
¿no?
Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
¿Por no ser de la Alianza?
They may not serve the Alliance, Chief, but they're allies. At least as far as Saren goes.
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
¿No confías en los aliens?
You don't trust the Alliance's allies?
I'm not sure I'd call the Council races allies. We, humanity, have to learn to rely on ourselves.
Pero estamos aliados.
Standing up for ourselves doesn't mean standing alone.
I don't think we should turn down allies. I just think we shouldn't bet everything on them staying allies. As noble as the council members seem now, if their backs are against the wall, they'll abandon us.
Aquí voy a poner esto. Es que a esta tía, para tener romance con ella, hay que darle la razón. Así que tiene toda la razón.
The Council's had a grudge against us since the First Contact War.
I don't think it's a grudge. I think it's... Look, if you're fighting a bear and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human. It's not racism, not really. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
No sé si he hecho bien. No sé si he hecho bien. Ya lo
You
entiendo.
sound like one of those Terra Firma party pamphlets, Chief.
Terra Firma is a pack of jackals. The founders had ideals. These days they just play off xenophobia and bigotry. I hope my reasons are more rational. My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own.
Compañeros a investigar.
It doesn't sound like you've worked with aliens before.
No, sir. Mainly I've been groundside, part of the surface garrison forces. I did get a rotation on a space station for training. Every Marine a rifleman, every rifleman ZG certified.
Que merece ser algo mejor.
That's odd. Your record is spotless and your technical scores are exemplary. You should be serving with the fleet.
Anyway, that's why I haven't served with many aliens, Commander.
I never knew my family. Grew up an orphan on Earth. Anybody in your family I'd have heard of?
Couldn't say, Commander. So why are you out here? Just trying to get away from Earth?
Para ver el espacio. Para servir a la alianza. Para servir a la alianza,
Mainly I wanted to serve. Protect the Alliance, save lives, you know.
Glad to hear it. I'd hate to think you were out here for a free college education.
Vale. Compañero tus sentimientos.
All right. I can see where your concerns are coming from, Williams. But this is a multilateral mission. You're going to have to work with aliens, like it or not.
It won't be a problem, Commander. You say jump, I say how high. You tell me to kiss a Turian, I'll ask which cheek.
Hey, ¿por qué no a mí?
Would you kiss anyone I ordered you to?
That depends, sir. If you ordered me to kiss a superior officer, that would be a violation of the regs concerning fraternization. That would make it an illegal order. I'd be required to decline and relieve you of command.
O sea,
Yes, sir.
o sea, si le pido que bese a Garrus, al turiano Garrus, va y le tira un beso en la mejilla que yo le diga dónde. Pero si le digo que me bese a mí, es una orden de confrontación, es ilegal, no sé qué, me tendría que relevar del mando y denunciar. Solo porque le pido que me bese. ¿Qué tal nos
What's your
va?
opinion on the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story about her and her mom not talking. They're family, right?
Quizá no sea importante, lo vigilaremos. Quizá no sea importante.
Not everyone has a happy family life.
No, I guess not. Too bad those ruins got destroyed. I mean, they lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
Va.
We'll talk later, Williams.
Looking
Vamos a
forward-
terminar de hablar con la gente, ¿vale? Tenemos que hacer esta ronda de la Normandía siempre que hacemos una misión principal porque es importante hablar con todo el mundo. Y luego nos haremos alguna misión secundaria de estas de buscar algo por ahí.
So, we've got Saren on the run.
Así es.
It won't be long now. Saren's good, but I'm better.
Good. He's rotten. To the core. I could tell as soon as I met him.
¿Conoces a Saren?
Why didn't you tell me this sooner?
I would have if I thought I was important.
Muy bien, de acuerdo. Cuéntame más, eso lo decidiría yo. Muy bien, de acuerdo.
I think I'd like to hear about it just the same.
This was a while ago. A bunch of mercs were bragging about a job out near the edges of the Terminus systems. They said it paid well and the boss was never around to ride them. They said he was looking for more men, too. So I checked it out.
¿Te reclutó?
I didn't know Saren was openly recruiting mercs.
It wasn't that open, and he only showed his face once. We'd been raiding ships in the area for months when we took out this massive cargo freighter. Our biggest haul yet. I was on board checking bodies for valuables, looking for some extra credits. That's when I saw him.
¿Qué estaba haciendo?
What did Saren want with the ship?
I don't know what he wanted. He was just moving through the ship, watching. Couple of the mercs called him by name, but he never spoke to them. Never spoke to anyone. I had a really bad feeling about him, so I got the hell out. Didn't even wait to get paid.
What kind of cargo was the freighter carrying? What was Saren after?
I don't know. All I saw on that ship was food and medical supplies. There were some basic weapons, but nothing big. If there was anything of value on that ship, I didn't see it. That's why I didn't mention it sooner.
Whose ship was it?
There was a Volus trading vessel. Big one. Lots of guards. But they were no match for us.
That's the only time you saw him?
Yeah. Didn't even know who he was. Still wouldn't if I hadn't joined up with you. But my instincts were right. Every other merc on that mission turned up dead within a week. Every damn one.
Are your people really dying?
Esto ya lo hemos hablado
We're
con él.
sure we're too spread out.
Esto ya lo hemos hablado con él.
None of us are interested in staying in our
So
own
long, Rex.
Shepard.
Vale, Garrus. Ya es el último con el que tenemos que hablar. Bueno, tenemos a Contalia allá abajo.
Commander, how are you?
Why did you want to be a CSEC officer in the first place?
That's a good question. There were several
Creo que
reasons.
todavía no hemos hablado con él, pero bueno,
Like
por si
what?
acaso.
Probably the same as most officers. I wanted to fight injustice, wanted to help people. I guess my father had something to do with it too. He was CSEC, one of the best. I grew up hearing about his accomplishments or seeing his picture on the vids after a big arrest. He's taking my resignation pretty hard.
No me acostumbro a ver a Garrus sin la cicatriz del lado, No me acostumbro.
That's tough. But you'd think he'd be impressed you're going after Saren.
My father's a CSEC man to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says. He thinks I'm being too rash, too impatient. He's worried I'll become just like Saren. He actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons.
You were asked to be a Spectre?
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate, me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it. He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
Ya lo veo.
I suppose I can understand his concern.
You can. But Saren's not going to play by our rules, CSEC's rules. If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
Eso no es cierto.
Just because you can break the rules doesn't mean you should. I don't need to stoop to Saren's level to stop him. And neither do you, Garrus.
I see what you mean, but I'll think about it. Thanks, Commander.
Dios, no me gusta para nada ponerme en la contra de Garrus, tío. Me sabe fatal, de verdad. Es algo que me sabe fatal ponerme en la contra de Garrus. Tal, ¿y algo nuevo que contarnos? No creo que tenga nada que nuevo que contarnos.
Hello, Shepard.
Ah, pues sí, hay algo nuevo que contarnos. Pareces preocupada.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me, especially your chief engineer. But I just sort of feel out of place. The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving, and the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
¿No puedes dormir sin silencio?
The silence wakes you up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to hear is silence. It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down. I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard. But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss
Nunca sabes lo que quieres.
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have until it's gone.
That's true. I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture. You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them. But maybe they just wanted a different life.
Pero tú volverás, ¿no? Bueno, vamos a investigar. No.
You do plan to return to the migrant fleet, right?
I could never abandon my people, Shepard. I will go back eventually. But we have to stop Saren first. Otherwise, I might not have a home to go back to.
Vale.
I should go.
El resto de investigar es que ya hemos hablado con ella, así que... ¿Y esto? Vale, más simple.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian Tally? She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
¿Te está molestando?
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that
A ver, nuestra
I
ingeniera.
can see why you wanted her to come along.
Es útil.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You got an eye for Tally, Commander, but I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
He hablado para hablar con Tali, no contigo, así que,
Aye, aye,
la verdad.
Commander.
Y esto, he hecho de menos los dos ingenieros del Normandy 2 y el 3. Siempre tenían conversaciones esto guapas entre ellos. Al final acaban juntos, enrollados, los cabrones. Vale, largámonos de aquí, gente. Hemos hablado con todo el mundo, con Liara, con Bryce, con Ashley, con Garrus, con Tali, con Chakwas, con el ingeniero Adams y con Kaidan y con Chef, así que hemos hablado con todo el mundo. Vamos a tener un poquito de acción, gente. Vamos a hacer una misión secundaria, pero que sea algo de acción, ¿vale? Un poquito de acción para cambiar un poquito, que vamos una media hora, eso es un capítulo de YouTube, solo con hablando la gente. Al final esto pues, puede llegar a aburrir un poquito, yo no lo entiendo. Así que vamos a pillar un poquito de acción ahora.